One woman's refusal to give up her seat sparks a movement that changes a nation. The year is 1955. The city is Montgomery, Alabama, a place deeply entrenched in the rigid, suffocating laws of racial segregation. In this divided world, every public space, from water fountains to restrooms, from theaters to buses, is a stark reminder of a brutal hierarchy. For African Americans, life is a daily navigation of indignity, a constant test of patience and spirit in the face of systemic injustice. The city buses, a primary mode of transportation for many black workers, are a particularly potent symbol of this oppression. A line, sometimes imaginary, sometimes a physical sign, separates the white section at the front from the colored section at the back. The rules are cruel and arbitrary. If the white section fills up, black passengers are required to surrender their seats, even if they are in the designated colored section, and stand in the aisle. Refusal is not an option. It means arrest, it means violence, it means facing the full, crushing weight of a biased legal system. It is in this charged and volatile atmosphere that our story begins, on a seemingly ordinary Thursday afternoon, with an act of quiet, unyielding defiance that will echo through the halls of history and ignite the fires of change across the entire country. On December 1st, a 42-year-old seamstress named Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks boards the Cleveland Avenue bus after a long day of work at the Montgomery Fair department store. Her feet are tired, her shoulders ache, but the exhaustion she feels is more than just physical. It is the soul-wearing fatigue of a lifetime spent enduring prejudice, of a spirit worn down by the constant humiliation of being treated as less than human. She finds an open seat in the first row of the colored section, a small, transient space of respite. As the bus continues on its route, more passengers get on. Soon, the seats in the white section are all occupied, and a group of white passengers is left standing. The bus driver, James F. Blake, glances in his rearview mirror and notices the situation. He stops the bus, walks back, and orders the 4 black passengers in Rosa S. row to give up their seats so a white man can sit. 3 of team, conditioned by years of compliance and fear, reluctantly stand and move further to the back. But Rosa Parks does not move. She remains seated, a silent, solitary figure of resistance. Blake, accustomed to immediate obedience, confronts her directly. "Y'all better make it light on yourselves and let me have those seats," he demands. The other passengers watch, the air thick with tension. The simple act of remaining seated has become a monumental confrontation. Rosa looks up at him, her expression calm but resolute. The moment is not a spontaneous act of a woman simply too tired to stand. It is the culmination of a life dedicated to activism, a conscious decision made in an instant that was years in the making. Rosa Parks was not just a seamstress. She was a seasoned civil rights activist, the secretary of the Montgomery chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NA. She had attended workshops on civil disobedience. She knew the risks. She understood the potential consequences. But she also knew that a line had been crossed, not just on the bus, but within herself. When Blake presses her again, asking if she is going to stand up, her reply is quiet but firm. No. He threatens to have her arrested. Her response is just as steady. "You may do that." True to his word, James Blake calls the police, and Rosa Parks is arrested, fingerprinted, and briefly jailed for violating Montgomery's segregation laws. Her arrest is the spark, the single, decisive action that ignites the dry tinder of discontent that has been accumulating for generations. News of her arrest spreads like wildfire through Montgomery's black community. It is a community that has long been organized, waiting for the right moment, the right case, to challenge the bus segregation laws. Leaders like E.D. Nixon, a prominent civil rights advocate and president of the local NAACP chapter, see the opportunity they have been waiting for. Rosa Parks is the perfect symbol for their cause. She is a respected, church-going woman with an impeccable character and a history of activism, making it impossible for opponents to discredit her. That very night, Nixon begins a flurry of phone calls, mobilizing community leaders, ministers, and activists. They quickly decide on a course of action, a one-day boycott of the city S buses on the day of Rosa S. trial, Monday, December 5th. Johandra Benson, a professor at Alabama State College and president of the Women's Political Council, works through the night with her students, mimeographing over 50,000 leaflets calling for the boycott. These leaflets are distributed across the city, in churches, in schools, in businesses, and passed from hand to hand. The message is clear. Don't ride the bus to work, to town, to school, or any place Monday. If you work, take a cab, or share a ride, or walk. On Monday morning, the city of Montgomery awakens to a stunning sight. The buses that are usually packed with black workers are now rolling through the streets, virtually empty. The boycott is a resounding success, with nearly unanimous participation from the African American population, which makes up more than 75% of the bus system's ridership. People walk for miles. They organize elaborate carpools. They ride in black-owned taxis that have agreed to charge the same 10-cent fare as the bus. The sense of unity and determination is palpable. That afternoon, Rosa Parks is found guilty and fined, but the fight has just begun. Buoyed by the success of the one-day protest, community leaders gather at the Holt Street Baptist Church to form a new organization to lead the struggle. The Montgomery Improvement Association, MIA. They elect as their president a young, charismatic, and relatively new minister in town, a 26-year-old man named Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in his first major address as a civil rights leader. Dr. King delivers a powerful, electrifying speech that galvanizes the crowd and sets the tone for the movement to come. There comes a time, he proclaims, that people get tired. We are here this evening to say to those who have mistreated us so long that we are tired of being segregated and humiliated, tired of being kicked about by the brutal feet of oppression. The boycott, initially planned for a single day, extends into a protracted struggle that lasts for 381 grueling days. The MIA lays out its demands: courteous treatment from bus drivers, a first-come, first-served seating policy, with blacks filling seats from the back and whites from the front, and the hiring of black bus drivers for routes that predominantly serve black neighborhoods. City officials and the bus company refuse to negotiate. The boycott becomes a test of endurance, a war of attrition. The black community of Montgomery demonstrates extraordinary resilience and organizational genius. A complex carpool system, dubbed the Rolling Church, is established, with over 200 private cars and station wagons dispatched to designated pickup points across the city, transporting thousands of people to and from work each day. This grassroots transportation network is a logistical marvel, sustained by donations, volunteer drivers, and meticulous coordination. The struggle is not without its hardships and dangers. Boycott participants face intimidation, harassment, and violence. Dr. King's home is bombed. Other leaders and participants are arrested on trumped-up charges. But these acts of terror only strengthen their resolve. The boycott captures the attention of the nation and the world, becoming a powerful symbol of the fight for civil rights. While the boycott continues on the ground in Montgomery, the legal battle moves through the courts. On February 1, 1956, the MIA files a federal lawsuit, Browder v. Gale challenging the constitutionality of bus segregation. The case is filed on behalf of 4 other black women who had also been mistreated on city buses, a strategic move to shift the legal focus from the specifics of Rosa Parks' arrest to the broader issue of segregation itself. On June 5, 1956, a 3-judge panel of the U.S. District Court rules that bus segregation is unconstitutional, violating the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. The city of Montgomery appeals the decision, but on November 13, 1956, the United States Supreme Court upholds the lower court's ruling. The long, arduous battle has been won. On December 20, 1956, the Supreme Court's order to desegregate the buses officially arrives in Montgomery. The next morning, after 381 days of walking, carpooling, and enduring, the boycott officially ends. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and other leaders board one of the first integrated buses. Dr. King sits in the front, next to a white minister, a powerful visual representation of the victory they have achieved. The Montgomery bus boycott was a watershed moment in the American civil rights movement. It demonstrated the power of nonviolent mass protest and launched Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. onto the national stage as its most prominent leader. It proved that a united community, through economic pressure and unwavering determination, could challenge and dismantle the deeply entrenched systems of segregation. Rosa Parks, the mother of the civil rights movement, became an international icon of courage and dignity. Her quiet act of defiance was not the beginning of her fight for freedom, but it was the act that galvanized a community and focused the eyes of the world on the injustice of Jim Crow. It was a single, powerful no that reverberated across the country, inspiring countless others to stand up, or in her case, sit down, for their rights. One woman's refusal to give up her seat sparks a movement that changes a nation.